Bhante. Bhante Chandima is already well known to many of us in Malaysia, particularly on his passion and commitment to bring the words of the Buddha to the many. If I'm not mistaken, there is not a single day in the week when Bhante Chandima is not conducting a Dharma session, either online from wherever he is in the world or in-person sessions when he is in Malaysia. For the benefit of those who have yet to meet Bhante, here's a brief background about him. Bhante Chandima is the associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, JIBS, published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn, Rajavijayalaya University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, University of Victoria, Canada, and had served as the Theravada Buddhist chaplain of the University of British Columbia, Canada from the years 2012 to 2016. Bhante obtained his PhD in Sanskrit in 2015 from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. He had graduated with a BA first class honors earlier in 2008 with a major in Sanskrit and minor in Pali and Buddhist philosophy. Bhante has taught many Sutta study classes and continues to deepen his studies in early Buddhism, Vinaya, Abhidhamma, the features and the style of the Pali Canon, and contemporary Buddhism. Please join me now with folded palms, to respectfully invite Bhante Chandima to expound the first of the Dhamma-in-Daily-Life series entitled Overcoming Stress in Communication, a Buddhist Perspective. Respectfully, Bhante.
Thank you, Brother Lim, for the gracious introduction. Good evening, Dhamma friends, who have joined from far and wide because of the new program, which is called Learn the Application of Dhamma in Daily Life, which was a long overdue, which I have been discussing with Brother Lim, which I could not make it a little early because of timing issues. But today we are going to start off. And today's topic is going to be overcoming stress in communication. Shall we pay respect to the Buddha first to get started? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Thank you, Buddhist Missionary Society, Malaysia, for organizing this on behalf of all the members, I think Reverend monks, and then everybody. Brother Lim did this invitation. I'm very happy to conduct this when time permits. All right, so today we are going to discuss about how to overcome stress in communication. So we have two terms to understand: what is stress in Buddhism and what is communication, and at the same time it's overcoming part. Somebody might understand this topic in different ways. Maybe somebody might think that maybe my communication is not effective, so that I'm into a lot of stress. At the same time, somebody might think that I cannot communicate with somebody who is giving me a hard time, right? And there are many other ways to look at it, actually. So, because we are looking at this topic from a very practical aspect of your daily life, we will try to see how it works in your daily life. That is the plan of this series. So I have a short presentation over here. Let's see whether I can show you that. Right. Managing stress in communication. First of all, let's identify a communication part, which is called speech, right? What is speech in the Buddhist text? Now, speech matters a lot. Maybe we can start from that point by discussing a little bit about speech and then how speech needs to be used in communication. What is the place of speech in the Buddhist path in your daily life when you incorporate that into Dhamma journey? Where does speech come from? That thing we have to discuss at the beginning. Speech arises as a consequence of sankappas, miccha or samma. That means whether you have right intentions or wrong intentions, speech is the next. If you have wrong intentions, then definitely your speech is going to be unwholesome. In other words, I would say wrong. But if your speech is wholesome, the intentions are wholesome, then your speech is going to be wholesome as well. But how come is someone's intentions going to be wholesome? Intentions are going to be wholesome when that person has a wholesome view, right view, sammaditthi. Only when you have sammaditthi, right view, your intentions are going to be wholesome. Otherwise, whatever you think will come from, definitely from views, wholesome or unwholesome views. So now you can see that your speech initially starts from ditti. Ditti means views. So if we want to make sure that we are speaking the proper words, we are speaking in the good way, wholesome way, we are communicating well, then we have to see at the beginning. We have to see whether our views, the way how we look at things, the way how we make our own views are wholesome or not. That is the point where we have to be initially concerned. Let's say someone is concerned about one's communication, that means speech. You are communicating when you have the speech. Then if you really think that your speech is not wholesome, good, then you have to go back to the views, whether you have the right view. Right view has two parts. I think we can discuss that as we proceed. On the other hand, I wanted to share with you something interesting over here. Buddha also discussed about how does the speech arise even within the ditti, or I would say sankappa. This is how the Buddha said. There's a sutta called what he called Chula Vedala Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 44. In this sutta, he says, Vitakka Vichara Vachi Sankhar. The Pali word for the speech is Vachi Sankhar. What is it? Vachi Sankhar. In Pali, we call the speech as Vachi Sankhar. Then you might be a little bit worried about what is Sankhar. Why is speech given as Sankhar? Right? Sankhara, the Pali word Sankhara has many meanings. Okay? It has many meanings. One meaning of sankhara is our good karma, bad karma. In the teachings of the Buddha, we call our karma to be sankhara. A loose word for karma is, sankhara is karma, but the proper Pali word is sankhara. That is one idea of sankhara. Another idea of sankhara is conditioned things, what is made from, what is made by something else. So we all are made by something else. The only thing that is not made by something else is Nibbana. That means everything except Nibbana is all sankhara. This is the second meaning of sankhara. Another meaning of sankhara is the activities we are doing in terms of body, speech, and the mind. That is the context we are picking up here for speech. That means our speech, though it initially arises from ditti, but if you look at it from a more technical perspective, you can see our speech arises from vitakka and vichara. Are these words very new to all of you? Pali words, vitakka, vichara. Where do you find these Pali words? Where have you come across these Pali words before? Vitakka and vichara. Show again. These two. Now it is said vitakka, with the what you call the amalgamation of these two, vitakka, vichara, make up the speech. That means if we try to see the consistency of our speech, our verbal activities, you will go down to the vitakka and vichara. Vitakka means initial thought. Whenever an initial thought arises, we call it a vitakka. But not all vitakkas are followed by vichara. Vichara means that you are bringing another attention to that particular thought. Then that vitakka will be further sustained, further used by, then it will become vichara. Vitakka, vichara. When vitakka, vichara make up, there comes the speech. That's why he said, place in the mind. That means the initial thought. And then the keeping it connected, sustained thought, are verbal process in the Dhamma. That means if you really want to understand how is my speech made up, that is none other than the sum of the both vitakka and vichara. But where have you found out these two? In your own readings. You must have found out these two under the jhana components. Jhana components. See, when you are practicing meditation, what you are doing? You are trying to overcome 5 hindrances. The reality is hindered by 5 hindrances. So the more you overcome 5 hindrances, the more jhanas are coming to, arise. The more samatha is going to arise, right? So when the concentration, samatha, or I would say, in this case, when you are overcoming 5 hindrances, then there come the, what you call, 5 jhanic components. We call them vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. So this is another way to look at vitakka, vichara, but I don't want to go that way. It's a little bit deeper Dhamma teaching. What I want to share with you is that your speech consists of vitakka and vichara. But if you really want to be concerned about how to make up purify my speech, because of that you are going to communicate with somebody, then you have to be very concerned about ditti part. Ditti, because from ditti, our views, we are making intention so that speech will arise. And then it will become a communication, the way how you communicate with someone. Now, we are communicating in 2 ways. One way is that we are internally chatting with us, isn't it? Are we internally chatting time to time? Are we validating us? Are we validating our own decisions just by us? We are doing that all the time, right? It happens. That's why I said stop the internal chatter. And on the other hand, we are speaking to other people. We are talking to other people. That is kind of a expanded version of that internal chatter. So there are two ways to express our speech to make it a communication. And now you know how does this speech come from, and then how does the speech make up, and then how does the speech go to the communication part, right? With that in mind, let's go, continue. All right, how should a noble disciple, we call it Arya Samaka Buddhist, communicate? Now we are supposed to practice right speech. Now, although speech includes vitakka vichara, when it comes to our Dhamma journey, everyday Dhamma journey, we have to bring our speech onto the right speech. But how to bring our speech into the right speech? I have given the right speech in this little easier way to understand. Our speech has to be truthful all the time. It has to always unite the people around us. It has to always unite everybody as much as possible. It has to be always pleasant. It has to be timely but virtuous. We call it Samma Vacha. The Sutta Majjhima Nikaya 141 is what we call Satchavibhanga Sutta. Now, although we can internally chat, speak to us internally, at the same time we speak to other people. Now we see the communication is happening now. We have to make sure whether my speech, your speech is in line with the truth, in line with uniting other people, in line with some level of pleasantness, in line with a timely thing that I'm trying to communicate with others, in line with being virtuous, righteous in terms of the consistency, the inclusions. Because you see the opposite of these four, right? False things, lies, then slandering or backbiting, and then not uniting. Harsh speech, that is the opposite of pleasant speech, and then gossiping and idle chatting, which is the opposite of timely and virtuous type of speech. We call it you are properly understanding what you are supposed to talk. Now, as Buddhists in our daily life, this is our ideal speech. Now, when I say this, someone might think, well, how to do all these things in my speech. Don't worry. This is the ideal speech. When I say ideal speech, this is the speech that we are trying to end up one day. We might not be able to do it in one day, in 1 hour, in 1 week, in 1 month, because we have been forming different habits over the time. But this is where we have to end up in our speech. Right? Ideally speaking, right speech is the ideal speech. But in daily life, we may have some issues. I think we have to discuss some of them today. This is the daily application of Dhamma. So with that in mind, let's proceed to the next level too. What is the right speech? And there is another interesting thing about speech. We call it Mitabhani. What is it? Mitabhani. Now, bhani means talker. Talker. But mita means moderation. Mitabhani means someone who speak in moderation. Can we speak in moderation? How to do it? Now, that is also part of our problems when we are having stress in communicating with other people. Because we talk too much. When we talk too much, then we are creating unnecessary stress from us, and we are letting other people also create unnecessary stress. And when there are people who are talking too much, they say, don't worry, I'm a little noisy. Just don't mind about it. They say they know the problem that they have, right? They're asking other people to think that we are a little noisy. Just be mindful about it. But here what we understand is stress will arise due to the mismanagement of the right speech, or the you practice of the wrong speech. I think we will discuss that too at this point. Let's start with uh, Musavada Veramani. And then we will see whether there is any stress that we are creating within us and in other people, or we are creating stress wherever we go and will be interacting with other people. Are we creating stress by lying to somebody? When you are lying, do you think you have some stress within you? You know it is a lie. Are you creating certain stress within you? You have certain fears. Will I be caught one day? Right? You are creating a certain, even little to no stress, a little bit within you, right? And then what about you? You with other people are to lie to somebody. You as a group going to lie. A couple of you know that this is a lie, but you are going to make that lie. Then you all are carrying a certain level of stress with that effort. It is said that when you make a lie, you have to cover that lie with another 1,000 lies. They all are carrying a little stress because it is a lie. But on the other hand, as Buddhists, we are not supposed to say what is technically true all the time. What is technically true might sometimes cause safety problems, isn't it? Let's say there is something which is very truthful, but then you are going to say it. But at the same time, when you speak up, when you are to tell that truth, then there are a couple people, two people going to fight each other, run into a big argument. And there might, have certain physical damage as well. Right? Because not everybody can patiently understand the truth. Some people can be violent in understanding the truth. You are creating more stress in people who understand the truth as well. So at that point, you are trying to probably avoid telling that truth at that time because there is an imminent problem. On the other hand, you are making sure even for me to tell the truth, I have to understand whether it is a proper time to tell the truth. Maybe this might not be the proper time to tell the truth. Remember what the Buddha did to Mallika when Kosala Mallika passed away. King Kosala wanted to ask from the Buddha, Bhante, where was my Mallika reborn? And every day he came out of the palace thinking he wanted to ask, because Mallika was the one who gave the largest dana ever to a Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha in this case. But the Buddha made him forget about that question. What a pity on that. Because Kosala Mallika was already reborn in a hell at that point due to a certain akusala karma, which came to her mind just before she passed away. And after a couple of days, almost amounting to 1 week of time, Buddha did that. But on the 7th, 8th day, he did not do it. He understood that now Kosala Mallika was reborn, passed away from the hell, and then she was reborn as a Deva. Why did the Buddha then postpone that truth? Why is it? Now, Buddha could make other people forget about it, but can we make other people forget about it? Can we make other people forget about the honest questions? We can't do it. Why did he make other people forget about this question, especially make the king forget about the question? Because he knew if he is to tell the king, Kosala Mallika was reborn in the hell, king will be very upset about it. He's an unenlightened person. Then he will be arguing with the Buddha. Bhante, she is the one who gave the largest dana. How come she was reborn in the hell? Now we have the same question. You might be people who are going to Biharas and giving a lot of danas to the Sangha. But now the lady who gave the largest, unparalleled, matchless dana, he said that she gave it with 500 white elephants They were holding an umbrella to what you call 500 monks. And just before that dana, there was one elephant was missing. So this elephant was supposed to hold the parasol to Bhante Angulimal. Then they could find out a baby elephant. And anyways, she was able to bring that baby elephant to the matchless dana, and she did it. Now, when the king is to hear that this kind of lady was to be reborn in the hell, how will he understand that? That is why Buddha made him to forget about it. That means sometimes we have to understand about different people's mindset before talking the truth. Right? Otherwise, what you are doing is you are giving unnecessary stress to those people, isn't it? You are giving unnecessary information. That person also will be very much stressed out. Now, when managing stress in communication, you have to understand all that. You have to know what to say, how to talk, and all that. So even we are supposed to speak the truth. Yes, we are supposed to speak the truth all the time. But there are certain terms and conditions depending on the situation, depending on the person. I assume that we are with the Kalyana Mittas. That is why the Buddha said, try to be always with the Kalyana Mittas, so you can share what you really felt, so they will understand easily. So when you are making a lie, when you are onto musavada, you are creating stress within you. You are creating stress in other people. But just because of you are avoiding musavada, just because you are only speaking the truth, still you might be carrying little stress if you don't understand how to give that truth, how to deliver that truth. In the cases of those difficult ones, when you are delivering the truth to people who are not having a good state of mind. So we have to be very careful about. Remember Patachara, Kisa Gautami's story. Kisa Gautami's son passed away, isn't it? Kisa Gautami brought the dead son to the Buddha and then said to the Buddha, Bhante, can you cure my son? Now Buddha knew. He's already dead. But what did the Buddha say? Did the Buddha say, life is anicca, everyone has to die, and your son is already dead? You bring this baby to a dead baby to a cemetery. You are wasting my time. I can give a Dhamma talk to somebody. No, he knew the mindset of the person. He was very compassionate. Sometimes when you speak, I think all the time, more than the speech, you need more kindness, more compassion to the person who you are talking to. Doesn't matter what you're going to talk, but you have to be very careful, understand what's going on. Then the Buddha said, yes, I can cure your son, but on one condition. See how he released the stress, make her to release the stress. She was very happy. And then he said, if you can bring some mustard, in Thai tradition, Thai Theravada tradition, they say, I don't know, some salt. In Sri Lankan tradition, they say some mustard. If you can find some mustard from a house where nobody had passed away, then I will cure your son by that time. An interesting activity. Huh? Good activities for Dhamma school children. Huh? Activity-based education. Now we are telling, hey, Buddha said this, that. You have to understand what Buddha said. We are not giving activities for people to understand Dhamma in their own life. So Kisa Gautami was very happy. She ran to houses and everybody was happy to give mustard. But just before she is leaving the house, she asked this question. Has anybody passed away in this house? Grandma passed away. Our grandfather passed away. My husband passed away. This one passed away. Okay, I don't need your mustard. Thank you. And then she left. So when she went to many houses, only she understood this is not a personal incident that is happening only to me. This is happening to everybody. Because when things happen to somebody, like even when somebody is having a cancer, let's say somebody is diagnosed today, I am diagnosed with a cancer. Why me? Why me? Why I got the cancer? But not thinking that in a universalized way, why not me? I'm also part of this experience, right? So Buddha spoke the truth depending on the person. Because if we are speaking the truth without understanding who I'm going to deliver the truth, that person will have a lot of stress. And you are also creating stress of the other. Even the example of Patachara, that's also a very wonderful story. Patachara lost her one son, and then she lost her husband, and she lost the other son as well. And she heard that her mother, father also uh, died last night just because of a fire. And now her whole world collapsed. The world that she was calling that my world, that whole world collapsed. And she was naked. She doesn't know whether she's wearing clothes or not. She went to the temple, and people were very mad. How come a lady is coming to a temple this way? Was the Buddha a little different to this lady? No. When she came near the Buddha, he said only one word: dear sister, be mindful. That's it. This particular statement, the way how he said that, she had done some good karmas in a past life, and she started thinking about it. I think I'm not mindful. I'm not wearing anything. I'm just, driven by what really happened to me. And then she came back to think. So the way how he used his speech was very, very kind, compassion. So we need lots of kindness, compassion in delivering our speech, in talking to somebody, in talking to us, in talking to other people. There are many examples as such. I think we will pick up a couple of them because our topic has to still go a little bit more into stress side too. Musavada. Then the second one is Pisunavacha Vedamani. The absence of slandering, backbiting, talking behind the back. I would say uniting speech overall. That means there are people when they speak, they are destroying the friendships of other people. They are trying to break the relationships of others. They are putting two stories to one person and then trying to break their dearly cordial relationships. So why is this happening to us? And when you are doing that, maybe you are not mindful. Maybe you know what you are doing. At the same time, you are giving enormous stress onto other people in that speech. Sometimes you were recognized as a very good person before. But then again, uh, people are now saying that you are a troublemaker, isn't it? You could be a troublemaker. You are passing two informations, couple informations to two people, different ways. So when we speak, let's try to understand what we are delivering to other people. Our speech always has to unite people, keep their relationships stronger, and then sustain friendships, whatever. So we are not making stress to them, we are not making stress to us. Most of the people who are trying to break other people's relationships, they are already stressed out, depressed people, right? If they are really understanding about what they are doing, they would have never done it. And then Parusavacha, as you can see here, Parusavacha means the opposite of the pleasant speech, which means that somebody is using words that are very hurtful. Actually, you are giving a lot of stress to other people when you are speaking unpleasant words, harsh words to other people. So you're going to be very mindful about what you are talking. Culturally sensitive, religiously sensitive, country specific, right? We'll be very careful about what we are talking. So you're not creating a lot of stress, any other stress to you and to other people. Actually, when there are people who have spoken harshly to others, when they cool down, when they were asked, why did you say like that? They mostly say, I was under stress. That is why I spoke like that. So that was a mismanagement of their mental states. They would have been a little bit cautious, mindful about what they were trying to say. And then the last one is timely and virtuous speech, which means that when you are speaking conversations, I would say we are communicating topics, discussions that are really worthy to other people, then you are really giving a lot of what you call calmness, happiness to others. But when I say worthy speech, this could be wrongly interpreted by somebody. A gossiper can say that my speech is very worthy to another gossiper, isn't it? One gossiper is saying that I'm saying gossip stuff, but the other gossiper also happy about it. So I think we are using our time happily. It's not just being worthy speech. I would say worthy plus virtuous speech that you are spending. You are spending with people to speak virtuous things, beneficial, helpful in your Dhamma journey. All right, so this is about right speech. I think we have to go on to the stress side now. Speak in moderation. All right, good stress, bad stress, good stress. Stress is common and not always bad. The body uses stress to escape harm. It can boost motivation and productivity. Even positive events like promotions, marriages, and a baby can bring stress. What does it mean? And then the bad stress. Stress can be beneficial, but persistent or severe stress is not. Stress and anxiety might result from anticipating a difficult event. Chronically stressed people may feel it tormenting them every time an action. Chronic anxiety and stress can create major physical, mental, emotional problems. Good stress and bad stress. Now, we all have been going through stress. Stress is unavoidable at different times, but there is some stress that we are creating unnecessarily. That thing we have to stop. But when we are going to work with other people, when we are working, we have to be comparative. We may have to work with other people. We may have to fix deadlines, timelines. Uh, Even when you listen to a lot of Dhamma talks, you feel that you are a little stressed out to practice all that, right? You've been learning a lot of Dhamma talks, but how to put them into practice, right? So I think there is a certain urgency in a way that we have to think that will push us to practice, push us to do certain things. So this thing should not be always interpreted as bad. This thing is a good reminder for us to engage in good activities. But there may be people who cannot understand this stress, who cannot take it up, who doesn't know how to face the stress. Then those people should understand how to properly face the stress. Now, say for instance, uh, regardless of what you are doing in your life, even in your household, when you are with your family members, when you are doing daily chores, definitely there you will see a lot of things that will create a little bit of stress. But take it in a way you understand what you are supposed to do without the stress to take you over, so that you are going to physically, mentally, emotionally ill. Rather than saying stress is bad, stress is always bad. So there's good and bad stress, but we will understand them according to the activities without letting stress take us over. We are trying to understand what it is and then do the necessary things. All right. Now, with regard to the communication issues that will relate to stress, I would like to point out a couple of things, three things. Become easily frustrated or angry. This is one thing that a lot of people are creating when they are speaking to other people, or at the same time, when they are making other people frustrated or angry, and trouble choosing their words carefully or expressing things in an appropriate way. This is also a problem. There are people who are saying that I don't know what to talk, I'm not very expressive. So I may have picked up the wrong word, unnecessary word. And the other thing that we have to address is when you are stressed out, when you don't know how to talk, there are people who pull away from other people and want to draw within themselves and isolate themselves from loved ones. Actually, if we really understand the right speech, then we are not going to be frustrated. We know what to talk. We are not supposed to even to be driven by other people's uh, wrong words, other people's micha vacha, wrong speech. And when we are practicing right speech, can you say that you don't know what word to be picked up? Can you say like that? No. When you are practicing right speech, you are supposed to say the truthful speech. You are supposed to say speech that will unite other people. You are supposed to say the speech that will uh, be pleasant, that is pleasant, and you are supposed to speak the words that are very timely, beneficial, and virtuous. Then how can you say you don't know how to pick up the right words? So you can't say that you have a trouble choosing the right word. But the problem is you need some level of mindfulness and patience to understand what to talk at different times. The third thing is, why do we need to withdraw us from certain situations? It might be perhaps necessary if it is really difficult to maintain, but we don't have to. When stressful, when people are making you very stressed out, you should know how to talk to them. Don't walk away from them all the time. When you walk away, what will happen again? Then you know, then you are trying to build up a certain thought. This person will stress me out again, isn't it? Because when you walk away all the time, you will always feel that uh, this person will create the same wrong speech again. So I have to walk away. You don't have to walk away. Buddha did not walk away from the bad people who were speaking unnecessary things. He faced the situation. He faced very patiently. Now remember the story, Akosaka Bharadwaja story, the Brahmin. Akosaka Bharadwaja Brahmin came to the Buddha, and then he is very famous who was insulting other people. This time he picked the Buddha, and then when he came to the Buddha's place, he started saying different things about the Buddha, criticizing about the Buddha's teachings. And then he was blaming the Buddha for different misunderstandings. But the Buddha said nothing to him. He was patient, spending the time. But when he felt the Brahmin stopped his insult, he asked a question. Hello, Brahmin, are you done? He said, yes. The Brahmins are intellectual, but more emotional in a way. And then the Buddha asked him, can I ask you some questions? Now, the Buddha was blamed by him. So he said, yes, okay, I would. Then the Buddha's question was, Brahmin, are visitors coming to your house? Are you a hospitable person in other ways? He said, I'm a very hospitable person. I have guests all the time in my house. Then the Buddha said, wonderful. Are you treating them all the time when they come to your house? Yes, Bhante, I'm a very hospitable person. When somebody comes to my house, I treat them with confectionery, sweets, and all these things. Right? Sounds good. What if your guest are to say, or your guest is to say that I just had my lunch, I just had my dinner, I just had my supper. What are you going to do with those sweets that you prepared for them? Then the Akosaka Bharadwaj said, no problem. Because if they don't uh, have those sweets, when they leave the house, I and my wife, my family members, going to consume, eat those things. So they are not, they will not be wasted. Then the Buddha said, okay, Now you gave me a very interesting treat today, but I would like to return this sweet to you. I am not accepting this. I am not accepting your insult. I am not accepting your blame. Please take it back. Then the Brahmin he was very, what do you call, uh, taken aback, and he thought, wow, this is very intellectually experiencing the blame. And he was very apologetic to the Buddha. But if that person were you are trying to bring up, hey, you can't talk to me like that. You have to understand who am I. How come you talk to me like that? You have to go away. But the Buddha, he used these strategies. That means he knew how to. He did not escape from the situation. Sometimes when you are walking away from the people who are blaming, they are coming after you, isn't it? They are coming after you and then keep blaming you. They are trying to keep blaming, right? So I think time to time you have to think about when people are giving you stress, you need to face it and then to do the necessary to take away the stress. Don't escape. But if they are very unwise people, then you might. But if they are wise people, they are misunderstood, then you have to face it. You can talk to them. Okay? Anyways, so there are different ways that we have to understand how to speak to someone who is stressed out and how to understand the stress that they are giving to us. Those two things are very important. Now, let's take a look at some of the healthy ways to manage stress in communication. Number one, this is more about Buddhist ways. I always encourage you to think about patience. Khanti. Khanti is number one in managing stress, in communicating to other people, or in being stressed out, or in trying to lower the stress that is being directed to you by other people in terms of speech. Khanti. How to practice Khanti? What is Khanti? Why is Khanti is very important? Patience. The Buddha said in one text, in one of the places, all our wholesome mental states, kusala thoughts, the foundation, the bedrock, the foundation of all the kusala mental states is patience. From Khanti, alobha arises. From dana arises. From Khanti, loving kindness arises. Metta arises. From Khanti, wisdom arises. From Khanti, kindness arises. From Khanti, metta, karuna, mudita, ubekka, and all these kusala states. Then why don't we understand the weight of the Khanti? If we improve our patience, tolerance, forbearance in better places, deeper teachings, we can lower lots of stress we are having in our personal life and in understanding the stress that is being actually directed at us by other people. Sometimes when we are very patient, the people who are trying to give us a lot of stress in their communication also drop that effort. They feel very pity on us. You are getting the kindness from these people. I'm not challenging with them. Okay, patience. Khanti. With the patience, I wanted to suggest you about Sammaditthi and Sammasankappa. In your normal layman language, understanding is Sammaditthi. Why do I call Sammaditthi to be understanding here? Sammaditthi means your views, the way how you look at your life, the way how you look at yourself, the way how you look at other people, the way how you look at spiritual life, the way how you look at individual people's problems, the way how you look at the person who is stressing you out in terms of their speech, the way how you look at your own stress. That means if you have Sammaditthi, if you work on 10 things about Sammaditthi, you will definitely lessen, reduce stress. When you are driven by patience, Kanti, at the same time, you are cultivating right view. Along with right view, you will understand then when you have right view, there arises Samma Sankappa, right thoughts. When you have the right understanding, whatever the thoughts that are coming subsequently, they are going to be right thoughts, good intentions, good thoughts. People who are trying to stress out other people, they may not have uh, right thoughts, right intentions. But have you ever seen people who are even stressing other people out in good intentions as well, or with good intentions? They are trying to call you all the time, but for a good thing, but they don't know how to talk to you. They don't understand how to spread the message. But you feel this is such a nuisance, all the time they are talking to me, calling me. I don't have to answer this call. That means even when you are not understanding how to spread the good message, you are trying to stress out other people in your communication. This works both ways. More towards the wrong speech, uh, also towards the right speech if you don't know how to deliver the message. So try to take caution whether you are disturbing other people, whether you are disturbing yourself as well. Right? Patience, I would say Kanti, Samadhi, Samasanga. Patience, understanding, and intention. Second, identifying causes of stress in terms of communication, cause and effect. Now, this is also very interesting. Why is it? Sometimes we are not looking at the reason why we got this particular stress in my speech, in your speech, if it is so. Why we are supposed to go back and look at the trigger of the speech? Because we have to understand, the Buddha said we have to understand the Paticca Samuppada in the basic way. Remember monk Vakkali, when monk Vakkali was Buddha's one of the relatives. And then when monk Vakkali became a monk, he always started sitting next to the Buddha and then looking at the Buddha. And then one day the Buddha said, what are you doing here? Why are you looking at me all the time? And then he said, Bhante, I became a monk just to see you, just to see your physical body. Like some people who are only looking at the Buddha statue never get to learn some Dhamma, right? Only looking at the Buddha statue is enough for me. Buddha said, you cannot see me just by looking at me. Now, he's looking at the real Buddha's body, not like many other people in today's world. Then the Buddha said, if you want to look at me, see me, you have to first understand Paticca Samuppada in the basic way. Your Paticca Samuppadam Passati, so Dhamma Passati. If we want to understand the Dhamma, we have to understand the inseparable connection between the cause and effect. Cause creates effect, effect creates cause. This inseparable connection, which you see throughout the 12 components of the Patisamuppada, dependent origination. And then the Buddha said, Yo Dhammam Passati, Somam Passati. Try to see me. When somebody sees the Dhamma only, you can see me, or that person can see me in the proper way. That means, are we supposed to see the Buddha from a statue, or are we supposed to see the Buddha from the Dhamma's aspect? We may continue to keep a Buddha statue, there is no problem. But the real Buddha is only visible through an understanding of the Dhamma. Now, the point here is Patisamuppada. We have to use this cause and effect theory to understand why is this stress coming up. What is the cause of my stress? Why am I always making stress within me? Why other people are making stress on me? There must have been a reason. Maybe my way of talking to them is not okay. Maybe they have misunderstood me. So looking at the cause can also overcome the stress in terms of communication It's a Buddhist idea as well. Third thing, be an active listener, non-judgmental. I would call it as less sanya. Have you seen people who are more to talk now? When you look at people, actually, most of us would like to talk a lot, listen less, isn't it? We would like to talk a lot. You have to listen to me. I'm talking now. This is what many people are saying in their daily chores. But it is very important to listen to other people, because when you listen to other people non-judgmentally, non-judgmental, that means don't judge other people in the first place. You are like that, you did this, then only you can minimize the communication stress, unnecessary speech stress. One of the biggest problems in terms of our communication stress is that we are trying to talk a lot. We are not listening more. Why is it? Because we have a lot of sanya. What is sanya? Sanya means perceptions or mental notes. We are driven by our past sanyas because we are very subjectively understanding what happened in our life, in my life, in your life. So when there is something coming up, you immediately jumping on to conclusions that this is like that, I don't want to listen to that, because you have already given certain brandings, certain, labeling onto that, more sanyas. So we have to reduce sanyas. Let's keep the good sanya, but let's reduce unnecessary sanya so that we can listen more, talk less. We can have a good communication between other people, even between us. Even if you look at somebody who is trying to take life, commit suicide, they don't have a good communication, internal communication, because they have a lot of sanyas that are going to consume uh, their, what you call, non-judgmental nature of their understanding. So try to reduce unnecessary sanya, thereby you can be non-judgmental. You are listening to people a lot. Pay attention to non-verbal signals. I would say sampajanya, the help from sampajanya. Sampajanya means full understanding. Sometimes when we talk to other people, we are not trying to pay attention to that person's speech, isn't it? So when we are trying to use our phones, we are trying to do other things, we are not paying attention. That person doesn't feel welcome in the way. So always there is misunderstanding. You are not listening to. It's something that you don't understand. Something that we are not on the same page. So if you think that you need to listen to, definitely you must pay attention to these verbal signs as what you call a non-verbal sign, so that you can understand what is going on. But the funny thing is that we are doing that for animals, isn't it? We are very much concerned about the non-verbal signs of animals, dogs and cats, other animals. But we are not doing for the humans. So if we're doing that, we can minimize unnecessary issues in the communication. Keep bad stress in check. Now I said stress, sorry, there is a typo over here. Yeah. Keep bad stress in check. You have to always check whether what kind of stress do you have. If it is bad stress, what you can do is practice pause. What does pause mean? Another word for this pause is sacred pause. That means mini meditations. Try to practice mini meditations. What are the mini meditations? When you are somebody who is always talking to other people, try to stop talking a little bit, right? Pause for a moment. And then maybe you are doing dishes. Probably you are thinking about that doing dishes activity as a little meditation. You are doing other small things. Try to practice little small meditations. They are mini meditations. They are really helpful for you to check your stress. Silence. Silence. What is the Pali word for silence in speech? Tunhi bhuta. In Satipatthana Sutta, we understand tunhi bhave, even when you are not talking to other people, even when you are silent, you must practice mindfulness, thinking that I am mindful. That's why I'm not speaking. This is not the silence that people are having in the household. I mean, they are angry between two people. They are not speaking for a couple hours. Today morning, something happened in their household. Now, for many hours, they are not talking, looking at each other. That is not the noble silence. That is a different type of silence because they can't talk. They are trying to level up their ego, the whole day. But at least it's good not to talk. Time to time, try to pause. Try to practice some silence. It is also helping you to stop creating unnecessary communication stress. Distraction, this is interesting. Now, when you listen to mindfulness speeches, Dhamma sharings, they always brandish distraction is a bad thing. Actually, distraction is sometimes good. Why is it? Now, say for instance, we all have been having different experiences in our life. Sometimes more of them are bad experiences, probably. What if that all these bad experiences are always trying to pop up in our mind? Fortunately, because of the distraction state of mind, we are not always thinking about. Sometimes we need distractions to forget about the past. Even when you are into a communication stress, distraction can really help you to, spend the moment. Look for humor. Yeah, you're going to be actually using some, cracking some jokes, good ones, virtuous ones. Anyways. And then there are another two. Assert yourself. Now, this is interesting in managing stress in communication. Express negative things in a positive way. How important is that? Express, let's say you have someone in your household, one of your family members, that you feel that there's a lot of negative things going on with that person, akusalas. But what if you are also going to talk about them in a negative way? But you are talking those negative things in a bit of positive way, in a friendly conversation. This will give more room to reduce unnecessary stress in terms of communication. Otherwise, every time you start off that conversation, that person will be very, very mad. Even if that person won't let you, talk about them. It's a part of asserting yourself. Then, but not letting others to misuse you, know your limits, not being hostile, aggressive, and demanding. Know your needs and wants, but do not infringe on the rights of others. This is overall helping you to assert yourself and then to peacefully sort out the problems with those people. Finally, reflection, paccavekkhana, and wise attention, yoniso manasikara. The Buddha said in many places, even in the Ambalattika Rahulavada Sutta, to his son in the Majjhima Nikaya, Rahula, you have to reflect before you talk. You have to reflect during you talk. You have to reflect after you talk. You have to reflect before you act. You have to reflect during you act. You have to reflect after you act. You have to reflect before you think. Reflect during you think. And reflect after you think. So if we are reflecting before we talk, before we communicate with other people, definitely we are overcoming lots of stress. We are not leaving any room, any space for anybody to create stress from your side and from other people's side. Then wise attention. Yoniso manasikara, which means you are trying to see any event that will create in the future for a potential communication misunderstanding. I would say with the overall outlook of that particular event, because we always understand that our way of understanding different events, they are not complete understanding. I usually pick up an example for this. It's like a what you call It's like something that you are only looking at from the half of that particular thing. You are not going to see the full spectrum of that particular thing. So if you use Yoniso Manasikara wise attention, you are going to properly understand the whole event. You are not creating stress. You are not creating other people to make stress as well. Right? Conclusion. Finally, speech, which will become communication after, should be delivered with great patience and understanding, kanti and right view. Only then will it be possible to easily practice the rest of the right speech, including the managing stress in communication. So take your time to speak and do not attempt to speak without reflecting. All right. So that's about how to look at the speech, how to practice the right speech, and how to see the stress in terms of our communication, and what are the ways to overcome stress in terms of speech on our side, or maybe from other people's side as well. So, Brother Lim, you can ask any questions at this point.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Uh, Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, I think Bhante has very skillfully broken down into bite sizes for all of us, uh, various aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path in relation to communication. So, which actually makes the application of the Dharma so real, so easy. And if you I mean, these are things that modern day coaches are also teaching, but we know for a fact, and Bante has actually very well put forward to all of us that the most excellent coach is the Buddha, and it is in his Dharma that he has actually taught us. So I'm sure that this has piqued the interest of those of us following in this Zoom room as well as Facebook Live. So to pose your questions, those in the Zoom room, please turn on your video so that we can see your raised hands, and please unmute yourself to pose your questions. Uh, as for those following us on Facebook, please type your question in the comment section and we will read it out. Okay, the floor is now open for questions. I know Bhante has already taught us about silence, but this is not the type of silence we want now in terms of asking Bhante for clarification. Okay, there is one in the chat room. Bhante, how do we answer or talk to friends who always like to gossip or say unsatisfactory comments on another person?
Yeah. Uh, well, we have a very clear answer to this question, but when we are telling things like that to somebody, we have to understand the level of our friendship. So depending on the friendship, we have to understand how to uh, tell this, deliver this message to that particular person who is gossiping. Sometimes if we are directly very much vocal about it, this person might be angry. So we have to find out some smart ways to bring up the message that this is not a good thing. But definitely our message is this is not a good thing. We have to find out a strategic way to say the message, whether you are friendly enough to say this to that person, and you can uh, show that the disadvantages of the speech, uh, especially gossiping. So definitely we can say that depending on the connection we have to that person, depending on the time.
Are there any more questions? Okay, there is another question here. Bante, are there any instances when harsh speech is warranted? Are there any instances when harsh speech is warranted?
Are there places that the harsh speech is okay or something?
No, I think the question is the, the person is asking for instances when it is warranted to actually
Yeah,
speak out harshly.
yeah. That means is it justified? Are there places of harsh speech to be justified? Uh, well, now we are. I think we are talking from the intentional part. Somebody might say that my intentions are good, but by my nature, my speech is harsh. But on that person's side, he or she might think it's okay, but many people will be uh, misunderstood. Many people will feel hurt. I think it's better to uh, improve the opposite of harsh speech. But on the other hand, there were times that the Buddha used the harsh speech in different ways. Remember the Casey's story. Now, Buddha had to use certain words, but he did not use them in ways to put people down, put other monastics down. But anyways, the short answer to this question is there is no place that uh, parusa vacha, harsh speech, unpleasant speech is justified because we are trying to speak pleasantly, not because of other people problems, but because we need to develop kusala thoughts, right? Whenever we are trying to talk pleasantly, our thoughts will become very clear, and then at the same time we will become happy and we will have a certain serenity within us with that speech. Right? I see a question here. Is body language is considered speech in Samma Vacha? Not necessarily, but in the modern communication lessons, body language can be a part of speech because you are exhibiting, you are displaying what you're going to say with your body language, right? Now, in communication, they are saying that if you can use your hands and whatever, it might help people to understand. But it is for an organized speech. But in the Dhamma practice, it is not very much necessary. But there may be times you might think that it is necessary to teach people to tell something to other people. All right, there's one last question. Maybe we can take it up and then transfer the good cards in it.
Yeah, Bante, how to understand a person who is a good listener but speaks little?
How to understand a person who is a good listener but speak little, but it is by your own observation. You can feel that this person is not talking a lot. He or she is more listening to you, trying to understand him. Actually, before we talk to someone, we need to understand that person, trying to listen. Have you seen there are people, even before talking two, three words, this person is jumping onto the conversation. Don't let other people talk, right? So you can feel it that this particular person is listening more, right? My question is how and when do we decide to walk away or double down and speak up? Maybe in a work situation with unreasonable boss that asks to work late constantly, harsh feedback. Uh, it depends on the situation. It depends on the person. It depends on the particular matter. There you are going to decide whether it is important to walk away or whether you need to face the situation and then to make a uh, peace at that point. Because you are talking about a specific work situation, we cannot give a very general answer. It depends. But anyways, depending on the situation, you are supposed to face, or if you think that these people are not listening to you, they are really unwise, you may have to walk away. So it depends. But you need to understand what activity that you are going to make depending on the situation. All right. I think
Okay, thank you, Bhante. This has been very insightful. We have learned quite a lot. So, with that, we'd like to request Bhante to lead us in the dedication of marriage. Bhante.
all right. Okay. Thank you, Brother Lim. Uh, all right, so let's reflect upon all the good karmas we've been making today. Today we've been learning about right speech, and how to understand the stress in communication speech, and how to lower the stress in communication. The biggest thing that we need is lots of patience, lots of understanding. Those two big qualities will help us to execute the rest of the good qualities. We can become uh, spiritually, skillfully good people in speaking the right thing at the same time, engaging with anybody who is coming to talk to us, who we are going to talk to. May all these good karmas we've been making today be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnathinam hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnathinam hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnathinam hotu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Also, may all the good karmas be shared by all Deva, Naga, Mahitika. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha ammehi sambataṃ punya sampadaṃ sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantaṃ anumoditva chirang rakkhaṃtu lokasasana chirang rakkhaṃtu desana Chirang Rakkhantu Mang Paranti, Chirang Rakkhantu Tvam Sadanti. Also, it is very important to be surrounded by Kalyana Mittas. When we are surrounded by Kalyana Mittas, we have no stress in communication, and we are happily delivering our message, our speech to other people. That is why the Buddha said the first blessing is also being with the wise person. Asevanacha balanam panditancha seva. So we are going to wish, may we be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu yava nibbana pattaya. Finally, uh, may all the good karmas which we've been doing today by learning, and then the next thing is to practice, that is the most important thing. May all these good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, Sadhu, sadhu. At the same time, I'm thankful to you
Sadhu. And
for organizing this talk. Now, the blessings. Abhivadana Siris Nichang Vadha Pachayino Chataru Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvano Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Saminjatu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. With that, I
once
will
again, once again, thank you very much, Bhante. And brothers and sisters in the Dharma, you can actually have view this session again on BMSM Facebook. It is recorded, and you can get it instantly. Actually, I think by tomorrow you should be able to view it. And then one last announcement: next June the 5th will be the next session, and Bhante will be back with us to actually teach us on overcoming challenges in different family roles. Okay, so with that, once again, thank you, Bhante, and thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us tonight. We have 100 in following us in this Zoom room, and another 20 on Facebook Live. Okay, with that, stay safe, stay well. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.